Welcome to the Real Talk with Missy and Fabio.
The honest side of real estate with all you must know to survive in this market.
Welcome everybody. Today we have Missy and Fabio talking about real talk, real people, and we have a real person today. Our friend Tannous. Did I say it right? You know, my English sometimes is getting crazy. So please.
But we welcome you. And again, this is our mission, just to kind of bring the local business owners, entrepreneurs to you all. And so feel free to send us any messages afterwards or comments, and we will get all the information to Mary just as soon as we can so she can answer any questions you guys have. So welcome.
Welcome, Mary. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, really?
Yes. With the Missy and Fabio. Come on, of course.
Let me tell you that right now our producer said that I have to be still the same way I am
here.
right now.
It's hard.
It's going to be
Yeah.
tough for me,
the
guys.
challenge
So,
of the day.
yeah. So anyway, well, welcome. What brought you here to Fredericksburg? My gosh.
Out of
I know, that's a
all the
good
places
question.
you've been all over the
places
world.
you've been all around the world.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a good question, and I ask myself sometimes, what brought me here? But yeah, it's a beautiful place, though. It's because of my family. My family's here, so they've been here for about 5-6 years in Virginia before they were in Pennsylvania. So, as you know, part of my travel journey. After moving back from Dubai a couple of years ago, we ended up here because we wanted the famany to be together.
So your mom and dad
we
are
landed.
here?
My mom, my dad, and my 3 brothers.
Oh,
And their
that's
families.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us here, yeah.
So you don't have anybody left.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How many kids do you have?
So I have
You have
3
one?
kids,
Oh,
3
you have
boys.
3, okay.
Yeah. And then they
boys.
each of my brothers have 2 daughters. So
How old are your kids?
16, 14, and 6.
Really?
Wow.
Wow. You look very young.
Thank you. You're so nice.
They call me Fabio. Nice
The
Fabio.
nice Fabio.
Yeah, I mean Missy. Good cop, bad cop,
No,
you know, so we have a good time together, compliments. But having boys is like a whole new, well, for us, we had boys. My sister had boys. All my dad ever wanted was a boy. So he had 2 daughters, but boys are fun.
They are fun. So it's funny. My life is, revolving around boys.
Yes.
So I don't have sisters. I have 3 brothers.
Okay.
And then my husband has no sisters. So my kids have no aunts,
Oh.
both sides, right?
So you are the queen of the whole family.
I like to say that, yes. And hold on to that title as much as I can.
I love that. I love that.
But it's fun. I mean, they're amazing kids. And my husband and I work so hard on creating like that future through them of community people, like good humans, good fathers, good, they say like daughters are so
husbands.
hard to raise, but I say it's as hard to raise good men, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times the good man gets left behind. I mean, they need to know how to cook, and they need to do the laundry. I mean, we have kids that buy houses that don't even know how to make the washer and dryer
Yeah.
work. I'm like, can you help us do? I'm like, really?
I definitely put them to work.
Yeah,
They know.
well, my oldest one said something, and he did his laundry from 8th grade on.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm not going to
Well
do
done,
it.
exactly.
And Seth knew. He goes, I'm not saying anything. I did his laundry. He didn't mind. But I just feel like there's so much that's lacking a lot of times with male mentorship. So having all your uncles and your husband to give to these boys is fabulous.
Tell you what, it's not easy to be around boys all the time.
I
And
know.
it's funny thing about me. I walk fast. And people are like, why do you walk so fast? I'm like, because I have men all around me, and they're all taller. I'm not tall, so one
long
step for
legs.
them is 4 for me. So I have to speed up to catch up.
I love it.
So
I love
that's why I
it.
walk fast.
That makes a lot of sense, to be honest, I know kind of think about that.
Well, our community is, I know they've wrapped their arms around you. I know that you've been welcomed, and you've had to earn your welcome probably a little bit. You want to tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
I love this topic. So, each of us have a story, and I just want to start by saying I love your stories, and I want to thank you so much. This is why I'm so excited to be here, because both of you set a great example on team effort, on like harmony, on leadership, because you like to help. And I love when you always say, my English, come on, your English is part of that story. You know what I mean? It makes you who you are, and it actually shows the power of your story. I always say, like, our stories is how we actually address those obstacles along the way.
Yes.
Everybody goes through something, right? And what makes it a story is actually what we create out of it. to be learned from, to be remembered, right? So on that community part, the traveling, that's a highlight of my life, right? Is to I'm all about community. I love people, and everywhere I go, my main focus is to fit in. It's important for me to fit in. It's important for me to know that I'm making an impact. It's important for me to, leave a touch, leave something behind that's positive. So when I came here, it was tough because it was around COVID. So I struggled so much because there was no that face-to-face time.
Right.
Everywhere I go, I just learned that skill of, integrate and penetrate and, communicate and try to be with people and for people. So that was not possible.
When you guys arrived then, 2 years ago?
Right before COVID.
Oh, wow.
So in November 2019.
Wow. I think I remember you walking into the office space. And I don't know whether you were looking for office space or whatever, but
Probably I was.
with you're just checking into the where is it? We have the out of the box. The out of the box.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
You all
I
came
wanted
in
just
fat.
a place to be outside the house and run away from the boys, for a little bit.
Sometimes you just gotta go hide, right?
Exactly. I'm like, I need to be with people,
Love it.
So it takes time, but the community here is amazing. I mean, I've had it a little bit harder in other places, and it's not easy. One of the things I always say to people when I meet them here, I've been here since I was born or for a long time, and I'm like, I'm so jealous. Like that sense of community, because everybody knows everybody, is so nice, and that makes it sometimes harder to come in as the newbie, where everybody is like, you know what I mean? But everybody who's here was kind and nice and willing to, have coffee, spend time.
Good.
So, I'm thankful for that, for
I
sure.
think that's
That's
like
great.
as a military brat
Yeah.
or dependent, everywhere you went, you start all over again.
Yeah.
So I talked to a lot of the wives here, and I'm like, you guys need to come and get off base, get into the community. And they're like, no, we don't want to make any friends. We have to leave. I'm like, really? Because you leave a footprint.
Yeah, exactly.
You make friends with whomever here,
Yeah.
and then you leave your little bit behind. And every time we sell a house, too, to me, it's about the story. I don't want a sold sign, whatever. It's this couple that lived here, and they had their first baby, and just there is a story behind every single chapter we open or close when we do a sale. So
I love it.
That's
And you know
hard.
what? It's I love what you said about the women sitting at home. That's one thing I'm so passionate
makes
about.
me crazy.
Is that part of the challenge in their eyes, right? Because I always try to kind of see it from the other person's eye, and I think part of it is like they don't feel like they have something to give, and I always say every person has a lot to give.
Oh, yes.
And it starts with one person at a time. I remember was this really popular and successful entrepreneur back in Dubai that I met years ago. And one of the things when she started, we were talking and we became friends, and she said, well, what am I going to do compared to all these people that have millions of followers? And I said, you don't focus on the number. It's actually about that one person at a time. And that one person creates the numbers, right? So don't worry about that. And that's exactly what I say to all these women. Like, just get out there, and everybody has something to offer. And sometimes that little word that you say that people needed to hear at that point can change somebody's life.
I think the numbers are a facade, though. The numbers are not the real person that you want to even interact with sometimes.
Sometimes, yes.
It's just the core, you may have 50 people, but there's one or two or three that you really feel like you can give back to and help them.
It's
too,
not always
so.
the quantity, 100%.
It is definitely.
But
it's
now
quality.
I know why they call you the queen of solving problem. So you share a little bit about your secret, but just give us some more details about what does you do really to solve problems.
You know what? That's part of my passion. So my story has some pillars around it, right? My journey. So one, I would say, is about evolution. I'm always willing to grow and learn. I'm hungry for it. I love it, right? I don't like to sit still. I like to keep going and learning. The other thing is adaptation. Because of all the changes I've been through, adaptation is key for me. Like, I gotta adapt. I gotta try to move on. I gotta try to adjust and make the best out of it. And that's not easy. And then the other thing is mindset. So mindset is all about that how do you actually tackle those stories that and things that happen along the way? How do you react to them? That's not easy either. And then passion, that's part of the solving problems. I love solving problems because I like to make an impact, and that kind of links to who I am. It's like I see it as a challenge for me to create something positive out of something that people look at as not positive, right? Yeah. So it takes, I always try to take that bird's eye outlook to things versus being inside of it. And I think that's a key that I like to teach everybody. Like, actually, when you're in the problem, part of the complexity and the challenge is that you're in that problem. And the second you actually take yourself out of it and you look at bird's eye, the whole thing changes. You're like, what?
Right. You know what I was worrying about.
Exactly. What is this for? Like, I can solve this very easily. It's those emotions, right? That actually traps, we get trapped in it, and then we stop thinking and stop focusing. Just like when you ask a little kid about something and they answer like this, and you're like, seriously? I didn't think about it that way.
Right.
Because they simplify things. They look from that bird's eye
that's true.
perspective.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we really have to make sure that we separate ourselves from anything.
Yeah.
We can't be emotional about it, but we can in a way. Sometimes, like as a newer agent, they'll walk in and oh my God, what a beautiful house! Look at this, look at that, look at that. I'm like, let's just let the buyer take their time to bond with the house or enjoy the house or see what they want to see with the house too. And it's really hard because you and I both are very passionate people. We want to get in the middle of it all and try to solve it really quickly, but sometimes things have to evolve and work themselves out. And somebody will call and they're like, I'm going crazy, and I'm thinking, just hold it close. Just hold it close for one day. And don't say anything to anybody, just hold it close. And miraculously, it always works out.
I always say, like, the key word is to be grateful. Whatever happens to you, whatever you think is negative, it's going to be, you're going to see it later on. You're going to learn because you have to learn.
Yeah.
And then later on, you're going to say, oh my God, I was worried about
makes
that,
sense.
Yeah. So, and I'm a true believer. I believe that when one door is closed, that even we don't see it, it's because it's going to be open another one. That the guy over there, the viewer guy, is going to open the right door for you. But sometimes, we as a human being, we want everything our way. It's not everything our way, So that's what I believe. And what happens to some people want to be in real estate. They want to be a real estate agent, but sometimes they don't understand that this is not really only about sell. Because everybody's selling.
It's about serving.
It's really serving and passion and stuff like that. That's why people, when they're new, bring somebody, start talking like it's selling the house. You don't have to sell the house. People are going to buy their house.
Right.
And they're going to feel like, oh, this is my house. So I want them to, like I will do, to enjoy the time and say, because I don't even have to ask people if they love the house. I can see their eyes and their emotion and the body language.
Even though they're trying not to.
Yeah.
The man's going.
Yeah.
The wife's going,
They're going to increase the price. Don't do that, right?
So tell us a little bit about, I know you and Carlo have your business and how that all evolved. I mean, did you come here with the plan of this is the company you were going to open up?
Yeah, so we've done it before. So that business has happened before. So we've been in this, at least Carlo from the accounting side. I'm not the accountant, although I hold a degree. But don't come to me with questions for accounting, please. Go to Carlo.
Oh, that's good to know.
I left it 20 years ago.
All right.
But it's always been his passion. He's really, really good at it. And he's so passionate. And he's got a lot of experience being like leading companies, multi-billion-dollar corporates around the world. So we've always wanted to actually continue with that, and we did have it before. And when we moved here, that was the first thing that we wanted to do is to actually create that, especially in this area where we saw a lot of small businesses.
Absolutely.
And they needed that help. So our passion is to bring our knowledge and industry, expertise and experience to these business owners, where they don't have to hire these, really expensive roles, right, to do that job for them. We provide many of these roles in one service.
What do you all provide then? What is it?
So on the accounting side, we provide, basically taxes, accounting, payroll, bookkeeping, and of course, Carlo, with all his passion, he also provides the advice, which is the added value, right? So a lot of, accountants, they look at it more from the numbers perspective.
Right.
You ask me to do payroll, I'm gonna do payroll. You ask me to do bookkeeping, I'll do bookkeeping.
That's where we are in my life.
But Carlo does a lot more. Carlo looks at it from a business perspective.
Nice.
Like he reviews it. Okay, do you know one of his clients is like, wow, I'm making great money. He's like, actually, you're not. You've got a lot of liability. So analyzing the books, giving advice. You're not charging enough for your labor. Do you know that prices are X amount? So he gives a lot of that level of consulting that doesn't only address the accounting piece, but also from a business perspective. What can you do better?
Education.
Okay. Basically operations.
Nice.
How you're billing, how you're actually collecting, all of that. So we do all of that. And then I'm more on the business training side and business consulting. So when it comes to culture, training, service, how to do strategic sales. I love sales. It's in my blood. Actually, the sales that you guys do, the more the relationship,
We're
the
waiting
service.
for you.
It's passion. I absolutely love it. It's like you're making a huge impact and you're building a relationship, and you look at that and you look back and you're like, wow, I've done something good.
I just hired someone to cultivate that relationship as a lifelong relationship. That's what we're really we can't keep up with it.
It's customer success.
While we're doing it with each of ourselves and doing our boots on the ground, it's so hard to love on the people that we know we should be loving on. We don't have to pay for other leads. Just take care of the people who we've already made happy.
Exactly. And that's actually the biggest asset. You know that it costs, from a business perspective, it costs you 9 times more
to acquire,
to bring a new one versus
the one that you
and
already
to even bring the new one. Oh, that's right. You actually have to love on it and cultivate it, and then make sure that it becomes a client. Yeah, I have so much money sitting in a database. It's really sad.
But it's good.
sad.
That's positive that you're taking action.
Yeah, but now this new young lady, she's gonna be awesome.
That's what
I'm
you
excited.
said. Take action.
Yeah.
That's the main
Yeah. Take
word,
action,
I believe, isn't it?
It's funny, we were talking about it, Carla and I, the same thing, because we're so blessed in the trust and we're growing so fast. And I said, okay, he's getting really busy into the day-to-day and training teams. We're hiring and hiring and hiring, and I'm like, okay, back up. Let's back up. Where's customer success? Where is that maintaining? I gotta make sure that we have that connection with our existing customers, because to us it's about the brand, it's about the story, it's about the the relationship.
Absolutely.
And the rest will come because we do that and we love doing it.
Yeah.
We need that.
We do. We're working on it. We are.
We're
all
taking
over
action,
the
but
place,
sometimes
we're working on it.
we're working on it. We're working on it.
It's interesting because everybody always wants to be a coach. Everybody has a service they can provide you, but no one provides the full service. It's not, we can do this, but we can't do that. But so it's always piecemealing things together in our world. So it's really difficult, just to not waste your money, for one thing, as well as to get anything done.
Yeah.
It's like we have something waiting for everybody else to do this. It's always something in line, but
You're
not
depending on somebody
It's
else
so
to get the job
frustrating.
done.
But don't you feel like now the word coach is getting really more like, how can I say the word?
Abused.
Yeah, abused. It's like everybody can be a
That's what I
coach,
said.
and they just trying to. It's everything about sell,
Yeah.
Well, we have a few things that happens to us,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway. But when you see somebody that is the real thing, then you'll be able to kind of trust, and you can whatever you feel like you're gonna be getting help from somebody that's really giving you the good advice.
What you really need.
Yeah, what you really need.
It's true. And what I say about that, and I always say it, it's like, here's the thing. There's a lot of things to consider here. Any business, you cannot be the right business for everybody. That's number one. You have
Not
to
make
believe
everybody
that.
happy.
Yeah.
That's
Nobody
right.
can make everybody happy, right? I always say there's that rule of, those 15-20% of they're not going to be. It's like that number, you got to expect that not everybody is going to be pleased 100% with what you do. And that's okay. Focus on the others. And then the other thing is, on the other side, from a client perspective, one thing I really see happening is that people don't do their due diligence. They're not talking enough to the right people. They're not doing the research. They're not spending time. Go and talk and ask questions. Be prepared. Do your research. So back to what you said, there's a lot of social media image, right? Where people do create that image because they know they've studied the science behind it, but it's not necessarily the true who they really are, and that's okay, right? It works for them, that's fine. But it's up to us when we're actually want to invest in that service or whatever we want to get done, to do that research and to ask the questions and make sure that you know what you are aligned. To me, it's all about like the principles and aligned on the things that matter, like the morals and the, you know, that part of it. Because if I know that we're aligned on trust, on, you know, respect, on all of that, that's where the base is, right? If this is important to me. So you gotta know what's important to you, and then go make sure that you're interviewing, that you're aligned with that person on it, you know?
Yeah.
So for new business owners here in town, because we do a lot of the federal, you know, retire, they open their own corporation, you know, what would you suggest for them? What are the kind of things to line up to protect themselves, to get smart about?
So like when they hiring somebody, you
No,
mean?
when they're actually opening their company, when these guys have been in the military for 27, 28
Right,
years,
right.
30 years. Okay, we're going to retire and we're going to be our own business owners.
We're gonna have a
What do we
restaurant
do?
now. We're gonna have
So
a
what do
restaurant.
you
What do we do?
I got it. Few things. There's a list of things to do, honestly. One, you gotta know why. First of all, like, why are you doing what you want to do? The why has to be answered. It's the why, the what, and how. Always have to be figured out. So why am I doing this? Because again, everybody can do anybody can do a lot of things, but not everybody will succeed. And the reason why is that there's a lot of things involved. Passion. You gotta love what you're gonna do. So if you're a small business owner, we're not talking corporate. We're talking small business owners. You're gonna be there every single day.
Right.
If you don't like what you're doing, I love when you said about the restaurant. You hated it, right? It's a tough work,
It is.
right? So you didn't like it, and that's okay. But you gotta go after something that you have to think. What am I delivering here? Is it something that I love?
Right.
Because
'Cause I'm gonna
then
be
there's going to be
knee-deep
lots of
in it
challenges,
every day.
right? If you love what you're doing, then you're going to figure out those challenges. The other thing to consider, obviously, is the financial side of things. Talk to the experts. Hire an accountant. Hire an expert. Talk through it. Make sure your business, your business plan is clear. Your business plan, accounts everything that you need to think about. Also, setting up that company. What type of company, right? So there's lots of different
kinds of companies.
Yeah, like
I'm just
structures.
kidding.
Remember
I mean, really, it's.
Remember that person? Actually, you hosted
I
that
know,
amazing
I know.
meeting.
That was just like, oh my gosh.
It's very helpful, so stuff like that. The other thing is culture. What type of culture you want to build in your business, right? And then how you're gonna hire these people. So again, work with somebody that can help you build that culture and translate your passion and your focus and your why
Right.
into what the business looks like.
Well, and then your culture will be whom you attract also.
Exactly.
I mean, I always say, I want to protect these guys. I want a certain culture.
Yeah.
I don't care what your production is. If you're crazy and not nice, we don't want you in our world. We just need positive, good stuff and people that are willing to exchange information and collaborate. Otherwise, just move on.
But you know what's interesting, Missy? What's interesting is that's easy to say, but what I've seen a lot in all the work I've done is that sometimes even the owners themselves, they don't know what culture they want. They
Right.
think they do, but they
that's
don't.
true.
And the reason why I say that,
So how do we get to that? How do we delineate exactly what our culture is?
I love this question. So a lot of times for example, I wanted a culture with openness, and I want good feedback, and I want people to speak up, right? But then you knock on that door on that boss, and you're speaking up, and he is or she is flipping, and attitude, and mad and angry.
Right.
Okay, well then that's not the culture that you really
Right.
think you want,
Right.
right? So actions versus what we say we want that culture. I mean, it starts from that leadership, right?
Right.
So how you're responding to situations is what sets the culture, not what you
Absolutely.
think that culture needs to look like.
Well, I think, and the culture evolves probably.
Of course, just like everything
every
else.
day things change, but I think like for us too, maybe we do need to make a mission statement, and
Yes,
we
it
have
can.
we
We
have
have to smile more so we can help more people.
he's like, did you get good sleep? So, but I do think it is important. We have to build on a mission. you know, and why, and then maybe you have input of other people. How do you like draw it out? Do you have like your mission and then boom, 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 these 5 things are our pillars that we want to build on, or?
Absolutely. So you got to lay it out. It has to be clear. And the other thing I love, which is in my strategic planning training, is that you got to align also on what is it important? Why are we here? What are we doing what we're doing? Because that sets the tone for everybody else that works for you to deliver on that mission. So for example, if my mission is to make everybody smile, then when people walk, you know,
I have to be smiling.
you have to be smiling. So when you explain that to your team, they will understand why we're doing this, because that's our mission. As simple as that, right?
That's true.
If my mission is customer service and be the best service provider in town, then when you come to me and complain as a client, I'm going to service you with the best I can, because that's our mission, and I understand it as somebody that works in this company.
And it doesn't matter how it comes.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, the guy
price?
come, you know, whatever yelling or whatever, you know,
Yeah,
all that stuff. We
exactly.
need to kind of calm down and make them happy in a way.
And then go
Especially
back
if
and
the
kind of
man-
realign it. Have
Yeah,
to correct
yeah,
it
yeah.
then too. Especially
As
if they're
much as you
yelling. Is
can.
that what you said?
Yes.
Oh.
Especially if they're yelling. That's
Yes.
like a good challenge, right?
Yeah. Oh,
How
it is,
can
it
you
is,
handle
it
that
is.
yelling customer and make a loyal customer out of them?
I have a perfect example of that. Paul, my home inspector.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I met him, I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is an old lady. You tore her house up and blah 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 blah." He goes, "Are you done?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm done." He explained everything to me. I've used him now loyally for 4 years, because I know he doesn't just pull stuff up. He has a good reason why he does it.
Yep.
And he's
I
a
love
smart man. He was such a sweetheart. Are you done?
Yeah.
I'm like,
To be honest, the other day I took a class with Grant Cardone. That's his name, and he was talking about
who's
that.
Grant Cardone? No, I'm just teasing.
Anyway, he said something that I've been using, and it's really works a lot. You know, when somebody's yelling or somebody's stuff, you have to say, "I understand you. I understand where you come from, and I agree with you." And then you kind of change a little bit where you want to go, you know, with him. And to be honest, I did it a few times, and
He
happened.
did it right in front of me one time, and I'm like, "Ooh, Fabio!" And I'm like,
Well, you know, it just came to my mind. I said, "Well,
"That
you
lady
know,
needed it, though."
yeah, well,
And
at the
she
same
did. She
time, you know,
solved
you
that.
have to feel like you have to kind of put yourself in that place. It's hard, but you have to do it. And I think it's an ego stuff, you know.
Oh,
You just want to win. Oh, I want to win, so I'm just gonna say no because I'm right and you're wrong, and that's the
Even though
problem.
I don't really know that I'm right.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
It's compassion, and I love compassion. You know, compassion, I think, is what we need more and more of.
Oh,
That should be
cheers.
another one. Collaboration, compassion. I think that's it's one of our
Powerful
C's.
C's.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah,
And care.
and care, yeah, care.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is needed right now because people are going through a lot.
Oh yes.
And you know, the other thing is ego, you said. What I see a lot of is because of the ego, people are not opening up. They feel like, you know what, I need to look a certain way on the outside. So they struggle internally. And then when you show that compassion and be real and put yourself, right, allows people also to be people around each other and like share that and be themselves so that you talk through it and you relate, you know?
The ego's a protection. I think a lot of people, they maybe aren't as egotistical as we think they are, but it's just it's a way to hide behind it maybe a little bit too.
And I believe sometimes the first inspection that you have, you say, should I say hi to him? Should I smile to her? Whatever, you know, because you feel like but I say, let me just go and say hi. Or have a wonderful day, whatever, you know, because sometimes they have so many problems and you don't know. They want to be nice, but they're thinking their minds is another way, you know, with the problems and stuff like that. So I believe, you know, it's up to us to make the change the time, you know.
You know, it's funny. You made me laugh. I remember this. So I walked into a store a couple days ago, and I'm like, "Hi, how are you? How can I help you?" I'm like, "How's it going? How can I help you?" I'm like, "Okay. Well, I guess you don't want to talk."
Oh, we have more agents that call, and the first thing they do is get to the meat of it, you know. And then I'm like, "So, how's life? How's your business going?" And they're so taken back because I asked them about them. We're not talking about the house. We're not talking about our clients. It's about them. And it's amazing. Everybody has really always opened up. They've been very, wow, thanks, you know, how, and it's nice because it warms the fuzzy between to a transaction a lot of times, and we'll make it work and we'll work harder for it,
Yeah.
you know, just because we kind of care about each other now.
So Mary, let me ask you a question, because besides this, when do you feel like you felt like was home? Because it took me like maybe 4 years for myself. Me and my wife, we used to driving around. Do you think we're gonna live here? Do you think this is the right place? And when do you have the feeling that say? Well, my case is completely different because I don't have, you know, my sister or my
Family.
mom over
Yeah.
here, you know. So we just came with we have my sister-in-law and nephews and stuff like that. But it's still, you know, the feeling that this is home. When do you get that?
So I say this, and it's gonna sound silly, but home is where my family is. So like my family is number one, which Carlo and the boys, right? I love my my parents and my brothers, but I know this is you cannot. It's a blessing that we're together, but it's not always gonna be that
Yeah.
scenario. So to me, it starts with that small, home. But then when it's truly home is that when you're actually in the community,
Yeah,
and when
so-
you have that warmth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you feel that you belong, and when you feel accepted
Yeah,
and
right.
welcomed and appreciated, and you're giving, because I think giving is more fun than actually getting.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
So when you're actually able to give and people are actually taking that and they're appreciating it, it feels home. It feels nice, because then they will naturally give back. So the getting part is gonna happen regardless. It's about like being able to give and fit and feel that warmth, of a community. Is that when you felt you were home?
You know, I never maybe realized that I was because we were all together. I don't know, but that's maybe, when I felt like I had so many people that I know and people that was always smiling with me and talking to me. That was kind of made me feel like.
Is it when you met Missy?
No, Missy was a
was a tough
Missy was a
cookie.
headache.
I was a tough
I was
cookie.
always talking to my wife. I can't go to a Starbucks to have a coffee. There's a lady there always asking me to join her. How can I have to go to another place.
You were a missing part in my plan.
I love it.
You filled that puzzle square, that puzzle
but
piece.
That's
so.
amazing.
That's
yeah.
been a really beautiful journey between, that's for sure.
We both are learning
Yeah.
from each other a lot.
And that's the
I
beauty about
appreciate
it.
it.
That's the giving and taking. I love it.
Well, I would say to you, she's the one that made me say, like, oh my God, she works like a 24/7,
No.
and like
She's always doing something.
yeah.
I know.
And I say, my guy, she can do it. I can do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm.
Game on, right?
But at the same time, I try. Like if she said, jump over here, I'm gonna jump because I know she has the experience. So she knows that.
You trust.
Yeah, I trust her.
I like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And I really growth, and I can see that.
So remember I told you about the pillars of my journey? So coffee is one of them.
Oh yes, we know we love you.
And I wanted to share that with you because I know how much you love coffee. So coffee to me is that feeling of accomplishment and reward.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be accompanied by dessert though.
Oh.
I'm a dessert person.
Yeah, right now we are. But it's
we're being
it's
really
true.
good.
It's
No,
true.
can't. I don't care. Diet, no diet, there's got to be something.
Yeah,
Dark
that's true.
chocolate, small.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or a
that's
piece of
true.
dark
That's
chocolate.
true.
Something.
That's
I
true.
love dark chocolate.
Well, I always say my going to coffee every morning. People are like, you go to coffee every morning? I'm like, well, most every morning. I said, that's my atta girl. I got dressed, did my whatever, out the door, and I can just finally sit and just, this is good. It's for me.
And
You
Missy,
know?
you like the other thing. You like to talk.
No, I said
Not
all by
not just like
myself
me.
today.
Not just like me. What, today?
Yeah, it was awesome. But
There was nobody around.
There was no. I went out back by myself.
Oh, really?
It was good. It was good. I want to ask you one other thing too that I think is we're just interested. How did you and Carla meet?
Oh
How did
man, that's an interesting story. But I'll tell you like a really short version because it's a
Okay.
long story.
Oh,
But it was a coincidence. So in my culture, there are
What is your
they were
culture?
trying. So like Middle Eastern.
Okay.
I'm Jordanian. I'm
Okay.
from Jordan. So there was, they were trying to hook me up with somebody that like some extended like family friends, and they were in Maryland, and as part of that process, Carlo came, and we ended up connecting. So that person that actually came to be, meeting me and connecting I did not proceed with that. But then Carlo came. He took the stage because he's just like that. He's like,
Yes.
you know what? They didn't want him to come, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna come and I'm gonna take. It was not about me. It was
Nice.
more of like they didn't want him to come. No, I'm gonna come.
Game on.
And
Challenge.
I'm gonna take
I
it all
love
over. So yeah, he did, and then we started talking, and quickly, like within couple months, we actually ended up getting engaged, and then
Wow.
we got married.
So how many years?
7 months. So actually, on Monday, 19 years,
Oh,
What is
wow.
Monday then?
20th.
Okay. We were married on the 26th.
Oh really?
On
There
June
you go.
26th.
Yeah, it's a good month.
Yes. June
Although it rained
26th.
so much on
Oh,
our wedding.
6/26.
My anniversary is
86.
tomorrow.
Well, hello, Fabio.
I forgot about it. Now that you're talking about
Now
it.
you
We'll
have to
say
remember.
that in here. She's gonna hear
Oh,
you.
We love you.
no, when you say the 20 and then you say, well,
It's hard to keep track
I
of
was
what
the
even day it
17. The
is.
17
Oh,
tomorrow.
very cool.
That's a good.
37 years together. Ooh.
Wow.
It's a
She's
blessing.
a saint.
Yes.
Remember you being recorded. Sorry. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, if you would, just for everybody, one more time, just say about your company, please. Just give yourself a little. And we all need to do your company.
Oh, we do need it. We do
That
need
would be
it.
fun.
Yeah, I
Our
need to
team,
make yeah,
our people.
Yeah.
So we can all figure out. You know, I always say I have a table, a very long table, but it's chairs only for certain people. Because I really want everybody to understand that we're all kind of on a mission. We're not just selling houses.
Exactly.
So that would be great.
Yeah, I love it. I'm all for it.
Okay.
But here's an invite on air. These two need to come and visit, and when they do come to our office,
the
I'm gonna
office.
take a picture. I'm gonna show you that they actually showed up, and it's gonna be we're gonna drink coffee and gonna have dark chocolate.
I will
Deal.
have that.
We,
Yeah, that's
we
a
can
deal.
make it an end of the day thing. That'd be
Anytime.
fun.
Anytime.
Yeah.
So tell them
Always there.
about your office and your service, please.
Absolutely. So again, this is Mary Tannous, and I am the CEO of Patriots Tax and Accounting. We do taxes, payroll, bookkeeping, and you know what? What we really like to do, in addition to all of that, is service you and help you get the best out of your business. So we are right on Plank Road, 3920 Plank Road, in the shopping center where Texas Roadhouse in that building.
Oh, that's a good landmark. Oh my gosh. There's always a party
It's
going
always
on
food.
there.
There's always
Yeah.
food involved.
And
'cause that's
bikers.
another thing. I just love food.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
joining
much.
us.
I have a lot of fun today.
I know, it's good.
That
That's
was
good.
really good.
We want to thank you all for hanging with us. And hopefully, if you have any questions or you need anything, please put it in the comments. Again, we'll get back to you immediately. We want you to subscribe and hit the bell so you get any information from us as quickly as we post it, too. Bye, you guys. Thank
Bye.
you.
Take care.
High five it,
High
please.
five.
That's so important.
So glad you joined us today.
Please message us on Facebook, and Fabio and I will respond to all your questions as soon as possible.
Find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast.
Or anywhere you listen to your podcast.